Archie Slaymaker, International Box News. I'm joined by Dave Allen. Dave, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, mate. Thank you for having me on.
No worries. I did say thank you off camera because I know you've not been doing many of these, but we'll jump straight into it. Frazer Clarke, September the 2nd. I'm just going to go back a little bit. You were waiting patiently for a big fight. Was it frustrating at all waiting for this big fight to come to yourself?
Yeah, I guess I came back. I came back April 21, and that's 2.5 years. And I think I've been offered like three fights. Three big fights in that time. Wardley early this year, Matt Madov in Canada, which I didn't really fancy on a few weeks' notice. So very frustrating. Yeah, and having a kid and one on the way. My medical's running out in October. So, I said to my missus, if I don't get anything before then, I'm gonna go back to work and forget the boxing. So, and the Wardley fight looked good, and that was the fight I wanted, and that fell through, and I pretty much given up hope, to be honest. And then pretty much 2 or 3 days after the Wardley fight, I gave up hope on it. I gave up hope on it literally the night of the Dalton Smith fight. I thought it's not happening, and that was the day I received a text saying. We've had an offer for Frazer Clarke. Because people thought I'd been offered Frazer Clarke. Eddie did an interview saying I'd been offered Frazer Clarke a few weeks prior, and I hadn't nothing. I'd not heard anything. I even messaged Ed saying I've not been offered the Clarke fight. I want Wardley. So come on, what's going off? Like, let's send me an offer over. Let's do it. I've not been offered no Clarke fight. Not interested in the Clarke fight. I wanted the Wardley fight. And then obviously when that wasn't happening, the Clarke fight came up. Yeah, I was taking any fight really, any big offer that came in. The first one I was all like the Clark Wardley. There's a few other fights. I was at Babbage or McKean, but the Clark fight came first. So yeah, that was the one.
Was you always confident when that text did come through? Was you confident? Yeah, that's the one I'm taking.
I was going to take any of the big winnable fights. Clark, Wardley, Babbage, McKean. There was the four really that I looked at and thought they're winnable. I don't think I'm a favourite in any of them, probably due to inactivity. But I felt like those all winnable for different reasons. I don't think Babbage is a heavyweight. Ward is a bit inexperienced. McKean, I don't think is great. And Fraser, I've done a lot of rounds with in the past, and I feel like I feel I've got the beating of him. So while all massive ass and like I said, probably the outsider in all the fights, all winnable, but all big fights as well. So as soon as the Clark fight was offered, I was surprised I was offered it, to be honest. But as soon as I was offered it, I didn't even, the money wasn't even, I didn't even ask. That's the truth, I just said, look, there we go. That's the one. And I just hoped it would be before October. Didn't want to have to pay to redo everything again. Just to look, take it now, let's go. And it fell in September. Got a clear run it, good camp, no outside stresses, nothing to worry about. And I've done everything I can, so there's no excuses at all. So fortunate to get another big chance.
Do you think it's a risk for Sky putting Fraser in with someone like yourself with such experience, fought at a very high level? Do you think it's a risk for Sky?
I think it's good matching, really. If I'm looking at it from a outsider's perspective, and I'm in the Frazer Clarke camp, I'm looking at a man that bring the social media numbers, as I've discussed before, for me against Frazer Clarke in terms of previous opponents, and even Marius Vac and Bogdan Dinu. The dwarf in comparison. This is looking like it's going to be really high up on a pay-per-view card. Um, People can say what they want about me, but I always brought in a good crowd and good figures social media wise. So Frazer Clarke, this fight gives him a bigger audience, and yeah, I guess I might step up from Marius Vac. He's a world title challenger, so maybe not. Maybe it's a sideways step at that point. Maybe it's a backwards step in terms of competition. I'm not sure, but I think they'll see it as the perfect step. They'll see it as rounds and a good name, and his name going to get out there. But Frazer Clarke knows the danger because we've done a lot of sparring. So it wasn't. I wouldn't have took the fight if I didn't think I could win. Like them four names I mentioned, they was what I was looking at. But if I was offered a Hergovic or someone a rung or two above them, it would have been a no. You know, I've been in boxing a long time now. I think I know what my ceiling is, and I don't. I'm a father and got many irons in the fire outside of boxing. So, I've got to be sensible, realistic, and I feel like this is where I can still compete and win and win titles at this level.
I know we touched on it previously with regarding previous Frazer Clarke opponents. What do you make of his previous opponents against Wack and against the Bogdan Dinos? What do you make of them when you watch them?
Um, I don't think Fraser's like he's not the biggest puncher in the world, and he's not like he's not flash. He's not Anthony Joshua. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not banging people out with one shot, and he probably hasn't got the physical strength of a Joe Joyce to walk through people. Um, so I've sparred Fraser many rounds over the years. I've known him a long time, and he's very good. He's competent at everything. Like, he's just good at everything. He's like a 6 or 7 out of 10 at everything. There's no glaring weaknesses, but he probably hasn't got them outstanding strengths either. That set him apart from it. He's probably not going to be world level in my opinion. So, um, he's a very good fighter. No more, no less. So hard man to beat, um, but uh, but but beatable nonetheless. I think in the areas where he's a 6 or 7, I'm a 10, and that's where I think I can beat him. If I can get him into an hard fight, I think I can beat him. But where he's a 6 or 7, his boxing ability and his speed, maybe I'm lacking there. So I've got to try and drag him into that fight, which may be a lot harder than people, than it may seem. But I am confident though. I am very confident in getting a result because of previous spars. To be honest, that gives me a lot of confidence.
That's perfect. Obviously, just with regarding those spars and how is your camp going with those spars and how's it going in general? I know you did say you've not had you've had camps, but a serious camp with regarding going into a big fight like this for quite some while now. How are the spars and how is getting back into full training going for yourself?
Well, I've had a lot of time out. I had a lot of time out. Didn't spar for probably 18 months. Had a good rest, and I just feel so much better. Just stress of boxing. Boxing stressful. Um, Physically, it's a stress. It's a big stress. But I find getting a haircut stressful. So like when you're waiting for a message regarding opponents and financial stuff, and you're boxing here. No, you're not on that show anymore. You're on that show. No, that's not happening. No, we can't pay you this. We want to pay you less. Physically, I've had some hard fights over the years. I had some injuries and whatever else, and it took its toll over time. So the rest was great physically because I feel amazing now. Just feel like a kid again. But mentally, the rest I needed the rest. When I retired in 2020, like I said, physically it'd been a hard career, but my head was up my ass. The Dubois thing happened in 2019. The Dubois fight turned down, and then in 2020 the Lovejoy thing. All the love had just been took out of it. Just been it broke my heart, to be honest. Broken promises and this and that, and that's boxing. And the mindset I've got now, I'm older and wiser. I can handle it and take it and understand it all. But at the time, I just couldn't understand it. I thought I was everyone's friend, and over time, there ain't many friends in boxing. So yeah, everything's great now. Just a different mindset altogether. Just a different person, really, to who I was. Last time the majority of boxing fans would have seen me. So, and hopefully that shows my performance. But it's definitely shown in my camp because paying for sparring partners, traveling to train, going over to Manchester to set up camp with Jamie Moore. These are all things. Even if I did it years ago, it was very half-hearted. So, so everything's going great, mate. Yeah.
what is the motivation for this fight? I know you did say obviously family life now. You are a dad. You have got another child on the way. Is that your motivation going into this fight?
Um, yeah, of course. People say it's a financial thing for me, and financial, of course, it is with having a kid and stuff. Yeah, but the number one thing is I just want to have a go at it, being properly fit, and because I plan on boxing past this fight. I don't plan on having this one and that being it. I plan on boxing for the next few years. In an ideal scenario, win, lose or draw, I just put in a great performance. The performance for me September 2nd is everything. You know, I'm not sparring and traveling all over. If I were picking the money up, I'd let my dad train me in my back garden. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm putting everything in for this for this performance. With a great performance, I can win, but I just need a performance, mate. I just need to. It means so much to me just to box well. That's all I want. So yeah, for me, it's just coming back and just boxing well. It sounds mad, but I just want to box. I just want to box well. I know what I'm capable of. I was a very good amateur boxer. As a sparring partner, at times I've done some great things, had some great spars, and just never really, never really shown it, under the lights. So it'd mean a lot to me just to perform, mate. To be honest, and I do think at this level, if I can perform at my best, I think I'm the number one man at domestic level. But you got to be careful who you call domestic level, because Dubois and Joyce don't count them, because I probably won't be the number one. Do you know what I mean? Who I count as domestic level, I genuinely think on my day I'm the best around at the minute. So yeah, yeah. I've been training since October. You know, October 22. We're now in August. I've been working really hard for so long, and it's a shame it took me so long to grow up. But that's how it's worked out, mate. That's how life's worked out for me, and better late than never, I guess.
That's true. Obviously, that is a cliche saying, but it is true in the sense of this time. I know we've previously spoken about it in other interviews. You did say if you didn't get the fight before your medicals and the license was up in October, you would call it a day. With that being in the back of your mind, is it hard to pick up back the motivation to compete with that in the back of your mind, that was your mindset if when October was the cutoff?
Not really. It was a financial thing as well, more than anything. Medicals are expensive in licensing. It's like over nearly £1,000, and it was 4 years July since I watched David Price. That was the last time I made a good amount of money from boxing. And when you're single with no kids, it ain't so bad. But having a kid, one on the way, and missus, she's pregnant again. You know, just got hard. I wanted to box forever. I love the boxing. I'd box forever. But it was a financial strain more than anything. It was getting really hard for me to say to my missus, like, look, I kept saying something is going to come soon. Something's coming. Don't worry, it's going to come. And that was before the baby was born. And then the baby's a month old, 3 month old. Even 6 month old. Went to Malta when she was like, she's 6 month old when I went to Malta. And the money I got paid for that, you know, nowhere near broke even, for the training I was doing at the time. And I wasn't even training away or paying sparring partners. I wasn't even covering that. Um, so yeah. But no, people are saying like he's still going to be as tough as he was, but toughness ain't down to nothing but ego. Do you know what I mean? And I'm still the same man. I'll still be the same man when I'm 90. My dad's 64 and he still thinks he's the hardest man in the world. If you go into a fight with him, he's not going to quit him, and I'm the same. So, um, yeah, I'm not worried in the slightest. For me, fighting. Do you know what the thing is? People say, "Oh, ambition," and all the rest of it. Well, when you get when I get to fighting, I'm fighting. Do you know what I mean? So my ambition is no less than ever. Because when it comes to fighting, we're fighting. I don't know if that makes sense, but when I'm scrapping, I'm scrapping. Do you know what I mean? It don't come down to anything other than when I'm at it, and I'm not stopping. You know, until I win. If the other fella's better than me, then fair enough. But I ain't giving less than 100% because that's just the way I am, and that'll always be the way I am. So yeah, people shouldn't worry about that for definite because that'll never leave me.
It's going to be some fight on September 2nd. I think everyone's looking forward to it. Like you said, it's going to be really high up on the card. It's going to be some fight. I'm going to touch on someone who did previously speak about, sorry, Daniel Dubois, who are offered a fight with Daniel Dubois. He's now fighting Alexander Usyk in Poland. Obviously, a man you know relatively well, being out and sparring with Alexander Usyk. How do you see that fight going?
Yeah, I give Dubois a chance, to be honest. I think people are writing him off, giving him no chance at all, which I think is absurd, really. Because while Usyk is a genius, he's also 36 years old. He's also a cruiserweight. To be honest, he's not a big man. You know, he's a big cruiserweight. Really, he's not even a big cruiserweight. You know, Lawrence Cole is a big cruiserweight. Usyk isn't. So I've sparred I sparred both men. And Dubois punches as hard as anyone that I've ever shared the ring with. So Usyk has to be a big favourite, but to say Daniel Dubois, I see people talking like it's a horrific mismatch and it shouldn't be happening. And Dubois no chance, and Dubois useless. Couldn't be further from the truth. So if I had to make a pick, I would pick Usyk on points. But I don't give Dubois no chance. I give him a puncher's chance and a good puncher's chance because he can box. He showed a lot of frailties. I think the Joyce fight and more so the Lorena fight, but he can still punch. He's still got a good jab, and he's still naturally a much bigger man. You know, so and he won't be going to try and box Usyk. He'll be going to try and take him out. So it's actually a fight I'm quite looking forward to. Of all the upcoming heavyweight fights, that's probably the one I'm looking most forward to, apart from my own, of course.
And obviously on October 26th, it's a massive fight. Like you said, Daniel Dubois more than poses a threat for Alexander Usyk. Whilst you were in training camp with Usyk, what did you find that he does that Daniel Dubois can pose a threat to?
He's just not that big, you know. He's not really a physical presence. Obviously, I sparred on the last day. He hit me on the chin and wobbled me. And people make a big deal of it, but the truth of the matter is, I was in Kiev for 14 days, and I'd lost 16 pounds in 14 days. You know, I went from about 18 stone two to 17 stone due to not eating at all. Couldn't eat. I'm a fussy eater. I never ate anything. Um, so people make a big deal of it, but if you lose 16 pounds in 2 weeks, you're going to be a bit drained. Um, but in saying that, he's a genius. He's exceptional, but he isn't a very big man, and he isn't a puncher. You know, the first couple of spars, it wasn't a puncher at all. He became a puncher when I was a bit weaker further down the line. Um, you know, he's one of the best. He's one of the best boxers in the world at the minute, but he isn't. He's not physically strong. So I think, and he's not a big man. He's not. I think Dubois got a chance. Dubois beating him would not surprise me in the slightest. Genuinely wouldn't surprise me. Um, he's 36 years old as well. You know, he's got a style that relies on, you know, his feet and his reflexes, and that's going to go at some point. So yeah, I have a sneaky feeling that Dubois is going to cause a few issues. Yeah.
We do look forward to that as well. I'm going to touch on it's a developing situation just at the moment. The news that come out yesterday, former fur viewers Dillian Whyte has returned an adverse analytical finding. So his fight with Anthony Joshua has been cancelled. Just wondering what you make of that situation as a whole, if that's all okay.
Yeah, you know, it's a difficult one, obviously, with the Conor Ben stuff. Um, difficult, isn't it? Because they're going to come out now. You know, Dylan White's going to come out with a reason A, B, and C why this happened, and it's going to take 6 months, a year to clear up. You know, so you have to be very careful in what you say now. So it's a shame. My sympathy goes firstly to Anthony Joshua, of course. But the people that have paid transport, accommodation, non-refundable, who are now sweating on Anthony Joshua finding a replacement. You know, but drugs in sport is a problem. I've been saying it for years myself. It's rife at the top level, and I don't know. I think they're waiting for something really bad to happen to someone before they're going to clamp down on it. When realistically they should do it before that happens. But I don't know. But it is a problem. I've been saying it for years. It's the biggest problem in boxing. Performance enhancing drugs are everywhere. I've got friends that have failed drug tests. You know, don't dislike them for it. I don't agree with it. But it's rife, and they should get rid of all of them. Never mind two or three strikes, you're out one and you're gone. For this fight, I've got supplements downstairs. My missus like check that, all of them, check all the ingredients. If you get them for a pre-workout or anything, you have your due diligence and all that stuff. You pay the price. That's my opinion of it all. So it's a shame, but I'm not surprised. Every time someone gets caught, people act like it's a big surprise and it's not. So it's annoying. It's annoying for me as a boxer who's not at the highest level, who's never taken a performance enhancing drug, never been near one. The same man that gets called shit on social media on a weekly basis, by the same people that worship these guys that are drug cheats, Put me full of steroids and put me in a camp for 12 weeks. Pretty sure I'd probably improve a bit as well. Do you know what I mean? So I find it highly annoying, But the Dillian Whyte stuff will come out in the wash and happened in 2019, and that ends up getting resolved. So it's interesting that Eddie's not come out and just took him out of the fight straight away. The Conor Eubank thing was ongoing, and I don't know. At this point in my life now, I couldn't really care less. 3 or 4 years ago, I'd have been all over it, but now I just don't care. I'm just not bothered. As long as my future opponents are clean, brilliant. That's all. That's all I hope for. So other people's business. If I can medal in it, I'll watch it, but I don't really care what goes off.
That's perfect. Great. That's a great analogy there. We'll go on to Anthony Joshua. I won't keep you too much longer. Just two more questions. So I will apologise. Just Anthony Joshua, he is adamant that he will remain on the card next week, and so are people at Matchroom. Who would you like to see him face on that card and a realistic opponent?
I think the best opponent will be Hrgovic. He's already on the card, and he's the best heavyweight on the card, in my opinion. That won't happen though. That would make far too much sense. Too dangerous for Joshua, really. We talked a while for all that money. Hrgovic is too dangerous. So I'm not going to sit here like everyone else and say Derek Chisora shouldn't get the opportunity because he's medically cleared to box. His brain scans come back clear every year. His medicals do. His eye tests do. I get people saying to me, "You shouldn't be boxing." I'm medically clear every year. My brain scan every year is clean as a whistle. All medicals are. So why shouldn't I be boxing? I pass every the British Boxing Board of Control is stringent with the testing, and I pass them every year, as does Derek Chisora. So I don't want to see Chisora Joshua myself because I don't think it's a contest. I don't think it's a competitive contest. But if it was to happen, I'm not going to begrudge a man getting an opportunity like that. But I hope it's Hrgovic, because if it's McKean, it'd be awful. Washington would be horrific. I'd rather watch Joshua do the pads than box Washington or McKean, to be honest. Because Washington and McKean, do you know what I mean? I fancy beating them myself. To be honest, Washington done. McKean ain't that good. I hope it's Hrgovic, but I know it won't be. So I don't even know why I'm hoping for it. You know, the best we can hope for, I think, is God, I don't even know. I don't know. The options aren't great. And that's because Anthony Joshua is so good. That's because he's an elite heavyweight. So when you talk about him boxing Gerald Washington, Chisora and McKean, it's not competitive. That's the problem. And it's pay-per-view. Um, but the rest of the card looks pretty good, so I hope it goes ahead. But it's a sad situation for all involved, all of them. So we'll see. It'd be very interesting. You're going to get backlash whatever happens, so we'll see.
We'll go on to just the last one for yourself, Dave. It's a question we ask everyone we have on the channel. What does boxing mean to you?
Well, boxing's everything to me because when I left school and I didn't have anything, and just wandered into the local boxing gym, and from that point on, I've not done anything else. I've not known anything else really. I've had a few odd jobs here and there. I've been a security guard. I've been a supply school teacher. Um, yeah, I never really left Doncaster but for school trips. Boxing's took me everywhere. It's took me to America, took me all over Europe. I've met all my heroes, boxing and otherwise. You know, I was brought up in a council house, and now I own my own house. That's something I just never thought would ever be possible. You know, um, Boxing's given me everything that I wouldn't have even dreamed of. People say they got what they dreamed of. I got things I would never even dreamed of. I never even dreamt of having what I've got now. So boxing just gave me everything. To be honest, it gave me a life, and without boxing, people always say, "What would you do without boxing?" I don't know. I don't know, but I'm glad I've got it. And the fighting, I do the training, the managing. I just live for it. To be honest. That's why, like saying about Derek Chisora, people saying he shouldn't be doing this and that. People say the same to me, but they don't understand this is our life, Boxing is my whole life, really. Apart from my missus and my kids, I don't have anything else. I genuinely don't do anything else. I don't know about anything else. I don't read anything else, you know. So, yeah, boxing is everything to me, you know. And my dad, my granddad, it's all we do. It's all we've ever done, and just gave me everything I've got. And at the same time, I gave everything I've got as well. So yeah, I guess we're a good match like that.
Perfect. That was my last question, Dave, and I really appreciate your time today. So thank you for talking to International Box News, and I wish you all the best of luck for September the 2nd.
Thank you very much, mate. Nice to speak to you.
Take care. Bye bye.